This is Linda Favela, Isaiah 12. It's only 6 verses. The setup from the last chapter is that a shoot will come from the stock of Jesse. Yahweh's Spirit will rest on him. He'll judge righteously on the earth in consideration of the poor and humble, but he'll strike the wicked with the rod of his mouth and kill them with the breath of his lips. Under his rule there will be an unprecedented peace. The wolf will live with the lamb, and so on. There'll be a holy mountain in that time. The earth will be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. So the knowledge of Yahweh will saturate the earth. It seems the average person will know God in a very rich way. Yahweh will deliver his people from the nations to the promised land. He'll draw them as if they're rallying around a banner. He'll deliver them from the nations even more powerfully than when he delivered them from Egypt in the book of Exodus. He won't just make a path for them to the promised land. It'll be more like a highway. In your narrator's view of prophecy, that was all speaking of the millennium, which is the 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth. He'll return in his second coming, destroy the wicked from the earth because they were guilty of perpetrating the Great Tribulation. Then he'll set up his righteous worldwide government, rule from Zion, and call out his own from all over the earth to migrate there to join him. As we arrive in chapter 12, there's no break in thought. Speaking of the millennium, Yahweh says, verse 1, "In that day you will say, I'll give thanks to you, Yahweh, for though you were angry with me, your anger has turned away, and you comfort me. Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and will not be afraid, for Yahweh, is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. Therefore with joy you'll draw water out of the wells of salvation. In that day you will say, Give thanks to Yahweh, call on his name. Declare his doings among the peoples, proclaim that his name is exalted. Sing to Yahweh, for he's done excellent things. Let this be known in all the earth. Cry aloud and shout, you inhabitant of Zion, for the Holy One of Israel is great among you." Comment, that's the chapter. In verse 1, Yahweh was angry and scattered Israel. After the misery of that, they'll thank him in the return. His anger is turned away. Israel is gathered and comforted. In verse 2, the days of weakness, fear, and gloom are in the past. Yahweh has reversed all that. He's their strength, song, and salvation. In verse 3, with joy Yahweh draws water out of the wells of salvation. He's happy to save them. In verses 4 to 6, it'll be a day of giving thanks, praising, exalting, singing, shouting, and calling on his name. In verse 6, cry aloud and shout, you inhabitant of Zion, for the Holy One of Israel is great among you. In the traditional way the old-line Christian denominations interpret all this, Isaiah is speaking of the present Christian era, that God is already with us by his Spirit, providing salvation, and he's present with us in the here and now. And on that basis, Christians already live in Zion, Zion being just a metaphor for the Spirit-filled Christian life and God's close presence with us. And the verbiage about being drawn out from all the nations to Zion simply represents being delivered from sin to new life in Christ. And the verbiage about peace all over the world is simply peace in the hearts of Christians in the present era. And the verbiage about the knowledge of God covering the earth like the waters cover the sea is simply that Christian evangelism will spread the knowledge of God to the far corners of the earth. In other words, it's all highly metaphorical, it's all figures of speech, but in your narrator's way of interpreting it, it's much more literal. It's literally the second coming of Jesus to the earth to initiate the millennium and so forth. Many of the prophecies of the millennium are somewhat true now, but will be completely true in the millennial age to come. God isn't like a salesman who gives us high expectations and then the product doesn't quite live up to it. If anything, the complete fulfillment of millennial prophecy will be greater than expected. God delivers beyond what we ask or think, Ephesians 3:20. When thinking about metaphorical expression versus literal expression, your narrator often thinks of Isaiah's statement about the voice of one crying in the wilderness, chapter 40, verse 3. All four Gospels comment on that prophecy and the fulfillment of it. And what did the fulfillment turn out to be? It wasn't any metaphor. It was the literal voice of John the Baptist crying out in the literal wilderness. And Isaiah said a virgin would be with child. What did that turn out to be? It was a literal virgin with a literal child, and so on and so forth. The prophets were many times literal. The prophets also spoke figuratively and metaphorically, but in your narrator's understanding, the prophecies of the millennium are much more in the literal category. Isaiah 13 is next.